Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Mayor and Council meeting of Monday, October 6th. It is a few minutes past 6 o'clock. A quorum is present. Mr. Lama, at this time, I'd like to ask if you will lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council members, you have before you an agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
A motion, a second, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public commentary. It looks like we have one this evening. I believe it's Neelan Graham. Hey, good evening. If you would, please, sir, you can go to this microphone or you're welcome to go to the one over there. It's just however you wish to address. That's more than fine. You're welcome. We like to ask that we keep our comments pretty close to 3 minutes, but I'm not going to interrupt you in the middle of a thought or anything, but if you'll just be mindful of that, please, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you to our mayor, to our city, to each and every one of you. Very quickly, I am here on behalf of the Graham family, my immediate family, my father, Bishop Reuben Graham, True Gospel Pentecostal Church, which I hold in my hand as a letter that was typed up back in 2020 by our then church administrator, Mary Jane Coppage, which has passed on. And I would just like to read this letter to you. Since then, a lot of things have transpired, but if I could read this letter to you and you take in consideration of the letter, upon reading this letter, my mom and my dad taught me at a young age that you give a person their flowers while they can smell them. So, to whom it may concern, this letter is a request for a street name change. We request that Abigail Street, which runs west from Eastland Street up to the three-way drive of True Gospel Pentecostal Church, which ends on Henderson Street, be changed to Bishop Reuben Graham Way. Bishop Reuben Graham is the founder of True Gospel Pentecostal Church, where he has pastored continuously from his initiation 38 years ago and is still going strong. He is and has been an active and influential part of the Dalton-Whitfield County community, Whitfield County Sheriff's Department, concerned clergy of Greater Whitfield County, NAACP, and various other groups and affiliations. We want to honor him, to whom honor is due, and hereby request the street name change. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully yours, Neelan Graham.
Mr. Graham, we're all very fond of your father and hope he and your mother doing as well as possible. We have a policy that I believe our city clerk has shared with you, but what I would like to suggest and invite other council members to share any comments or questions that there's no question the impact your father continues to have on this community, and we appreciate him. City staff can follow up with you. We have your telephone number, and talk about the ways in which that is considered. There have been situations where areas of a road have been made in honor of someone, but these street naming policies are not flexible. So but as far as the legal address where it's changed, those are not flexible. So there's some criteria that would candidly be unfortunate to even be considered for that, because it would require to be considered that your father had passed, for one. But there have been situations where honorary sections of roads have been identified with signage in an area and think, but that's for city staff to talk with you about and then to come back and confer with us. Does anyone else have any comments or questions? Okay. So we have your number, so it will probably be Chad from Public Works that'll be reaching out to talk with you this week just about different options that we could consider. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for your time.
Thank you for coming this evening. All right. Staff presentations, Margaret. I think we've got a handout from you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I just got back from the Governor's Conference on Tourism, and I wanted to share a little bit, which coincides with the handout that I gave you. Governor Kemp shared that a record 174.2 million domestic and international visitors in calendar year 2024 spent 45.2 billion on Georgia's hotels, restaurants, recreation, transportation, and other local businesses, surpassing the previous record set in 2023 by nearly 4%. The tourism dollars generated $5.1 billion in state and local tax revenues, saving each Georgia household an average of $1,285 in annual taxes. That coincides with the report that I just gave you. It's our September economic impact, but the piece that's attached to it that's worth really mentioning is the growth of the actual bigger economic impact that the Dalton Convention Center has been the reason for. So you can see we ended last year at about 2.9 million. And this year, just January through September, we are at 3.2 million. So I just wanted to kind of mention that coincides with the governor's report on tourism and its growth.
And when we had our budget hearings with different committees last week, I asked if it's with the hotel's impact, if that's reflected due to rates being higher or lower, and it's actually we're doing more business.
Yeah, the hotels dropped their rates last July. So it's not due to rates, more rather due to more attendees within our community, more travelers coming in. So our hotel motel is about a little over 1% higher than where it was last year. So we are seeing growth there as well.
Awesome.
Madam Mayor, I have a question. Margaret, I know I don't want to put you on the spot, but 2021 is about when COVID was when it was winding down, I guess, you know, at least the really bad part of it. What were we before that happened? I'm just curious, have we more than caught back up or?
We haven't reached pre-COVID numbers in regards to our visitor centers and our Tunnel Hill traffic, but we don't have exact numbers for they weren't tracking it the way that we have started tracking it now for the convention center. But I would venture to say, based off of what I've seen in the books, we actually, we've grown a lot since pre-COVID in regard to bringing those groups in that use our hotel rooms, which is what really impacts that bigger economic impact.
So we didn't keep these same economic impact numbers prior to COVID?
My predecessor did not, no, sir.
I got you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Margaret. Do we have any other staff reports?
There are none this evening, Madam Mayor.
All right, at this time, we have a proclamation for Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And Jorge, if you want to come down, we'll do this proclamation. Okay. Okay. Whereas during Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we highlight the importance of safeguarding our nation's critical infrastructure from malicious cyber activity and protecting citizens and businesses from ransomware and other attacks. We also raise awareness about the simple steps Americans can take to secure their sensitive data and stay safe online. And whereas cyber attacks affect our day-to-day lives, our economy, and our national security, by destroying, corrupting, or stealing information from our computer systems and networks, They can impact electric grids and fuel pipelines, hospitals and police departments, businesses and schools, and many other critical services that Americans trust and rely on every day. That is why it is important to continuously improve our cybersecurity and focus on these main points of cybersecurity. Use strong passwords and a password manager. Strong passwords are critical to protecting data. Password managers are a powerful tool to help you create long, random, and unique passwords for each of your accounts. Turn on multi-factor authentication, MFA. You need more than a password to protect your online accounts, and enabling MFA makes you significantly less likely to get hacked. Recognize and report phishing. You're very helpful with that with your emails. Phishing emails, texts, and calls are the #1 way data gets compromised. Be cautious of unsolicited emails, texts, or calls asking for personal information. Avoid sharing sensitive information or credentials over the phone or email unless necessary. And don't click on links or open attachments sent from unknown sources. Update software. Ensuring your software is up to date is the best way to make sure you have the latest security patches and updates on your devices. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Annalise Sams, Mayor of the City of Dalton, Georgia, hereby proclaim October 2025 as Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and I encourage all citizens and residents to share helpful tips and resources with friends and family, especially vulnerable groups like seniors. Jorge, thank you for everything you and your department do for our city. Thanks. All right. About that. Okay, and anything you want to share about?
No.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I know all of the council and all of the staff join me in saying thank you to you and your whole team because you guys keep us running. So thank you very much for everything you guys do. All right, council members, you have before you minutes of the mayor and council meeting of September the 15th. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mayor, since I wasn't at the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you could,
Oh, yes.
I'll abstain and you can
That's-
approve it. So-
Yes, I vote in the affirmative to approve. So all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Unfinished business. All right, we have a second reading of ordinance 25-20, the request of J. Figueroa Construction to rezone from heavy manufacturing M2 to rural residential R5, a tract of land totaling 0.25 acres located at 911 Riverbend Road, Dalton, Georgia, parcel number 12-255-03-029. Ethan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, this being a second reading, you all are probably familiar with this property. Again, this was just simply a piece of land that had a single-family dwelling on it that the petitioner would like to bring back into conforming status in order to reestablish electrical service as well as to restore the property or restore the building back to a serviceable and rentable state. We found no issues with it. Staff recommendation was to approve as well as the planning commission recommendation.
All right, any questions or comments of Ethan? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move we approve. Second.
All right, I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, in our second reading, and I do believe we have a gentleman here that's affiliated with this, so if there is anything that you would like to add as far as updates on studies that have been done after Ethan speaks, we would invite you to do so. The item number 5, second reading ordinance 25-21, the request of BC Acquisitions LLC to rezone from rural residential R5 and light manufacturing M1 to zero lot line residential R4, a tract of land totaling 13 acres located on American Drive, Conway Street, and Threadmill Road, Dalton, Georgia, parcels 12-275-05-060, parcel 12-275-05-063, and parcel 12-275-05-064. All right, Ethan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The request before us received a recommendation to approve from the staff as well as from the planning commission. We heard no opposition at the public hearing. There was raised that there may be some chemical contamination, and the petitioner can speak to that based on the environmental studies that have been done. I will mention that depending on the status of those environmental studies that provided that they may still be underway, that because the environmental side of development is separate from zoning, that'd be governed by a different entity, EPD, EPA, and Department of Environmental Health, that probably don't want to put any conditions related specifically to the phase 1 or phase 2 environmental study in the sense of any sort of contamination that would preclude or create any prudent issue with the development of the property. So I think the recommendation would be, of course, you all have the ability to table an item until that study would be provided, but it may be in best interest to make that decision to rezone, to approve or deny at this point in time, just to be consistent moving forward. But again, it's a great fit at that location in terms of land use and the preliminary site design. A lot of due diligence had been done there, and it seems like an excellent fit both for zoning and development at that location. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
All right, any questions or comments of Ethan? And we may ask you to come back up after, if there are none, I would invite the petitioner to speak to any status updates on the property as far as the further studies. If you'll just give your name, please, sir, and thank you.
Thank you. Mike Price at MAP Engineers. We're doing the engineering on the development and have been coordinating the work that has been transpiring to this point. There has and continues to be the phase 2 study that is being done at this point, which is to determine what contaminants may be on the site. The study is not complete at this point. We expect it to be completed within the next week to 10 days. Preliminary findings indicate that there are no contaminants on site. We have found some foundations, but none of those seem to be of any consequence as it relates to any threats, if you will, or public safety issues as it relates to how residents might live one day on the property. I would offer that I believe, in my opinion, having worked on many projects for many years, that this is really not a zoning issue. This is really a permitting issue. In other words, the zoning has to be in place before the development can occur. Whether or not there are any contaminants of any kind, or if there's any other issues, for instance, wetlands, or if there are historical issues as it relates to properties, those are not zoning issues. Those are really permitting issues as it relates to how a development might move forward. So if you think that this site is appropriate for residential, then we'll deal with the permitting issues as it relates to any phase 2 issues that may be on the site. Again, we don't anticipate any at this point, but we would ask that if it could move forward this evening, and it can be stated in the language subject, the zoning is approved, and then if there's any environmental issues, that those would be worked out through the permitting process, which is what we would normally do in instances like this. So if there's any questions, happy to answer those.
Any questions or comments of the petitioner? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Any further questions or comments of Ethan? Okay. Thank you both. At this time, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, item number 6 under new business. We have 5 new alcohol beverage applications. Jesse.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. We'll start with business owner Sugar and Fire LLC, doing business as Sugar and Fire. The applicant's name is Eden Gomez Fernandez. The business address is going to be 319 North Hamilton Street. Type of license is being applied for pouring beer, wine, and liquor. This is for a restaurant. The public safety recommendation was an approval recommendation, and there are no staff comments.
All right, any questions or comments of Jesse? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you. The second one is going to be business owner Supermercado Talpa 17 LLC, doing business as the same. The applicant's name is Luis Cardenas. The location address will be 2518 East Walnut Avenue. The type of license being applied for is packaged beer for a retail store. And it also had a positive recommendation from the Public Safety Commission. And there are no staff comments as well.
All right. Any questions or comments of Jesse? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So move. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you. The third one's going to be Table 43 LLC as the business owner, doing business as Table 43. The applicant's name is Heather Young. She is currently present. The physical address would be 263 North Hamilton Street, Suite 101. Type of license is being applied for a pouring beer, wine, and liquor. It's for a restaurant. The public safety recommendation was a positive with also no staff comments whatsoever.
All right. Any questions or comments of Jesse? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
The fourth one's going to be Taco Roble Dalton LLC as the business owner, doing business as Taco Roble. The applicant's name is Alejandro Mejia Chavez. The business address is going to be 352 Northgate Drive. The type of license is being applied for pouring beer and liquor for a restaurant. There are no staff comments, and it also had a positive recommendation from the Public Safety Commission.
All right. Any questions or comments of Jesse? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So we approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, and finally, we have Tipsy Vibe LLC as the business owner, doing business as the Tipsy Vibe. The applicant's name is Naomi Martinez. The physical address is going to be 323 North Hamilton Street. The type of license is being applied for a pouring beer and liquor, and this is for a bar. And it also came with a positive recommendation by the Public Safety Commission with no staff comments.
Any questions or comments of Jesse? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thanks,
Thank
Jesse.
you.
All right. To our applicants, thank you all for doing business in the city. Okay. Chief Kaysen. Item number 7, amendment to school resource officer contract for 2025-2026 school year.
Thank you. Item 7, as she's already mentioned, is the amendment to the school resource officer contract for fiscal year 20, or school year 2025, 2026. The changes or amendment to the contract were made to reflect the changes in the law that went into effect, I believe, after July 1st. It mostly pertains in reference to the FERPA requirements. And the school had to put certain language in there designating what the school resource officer's functions were in reference to FERPA. So the adjustments were added to this document so that we could be in compliance with the state law. It has been forwarded to the city attorney for review. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer those for you. I'm gonna have to refer them to Jonathan for specifics, but it's pretty straightforward, just tied to the FERPA changes.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions or comments of City Attorney or Chief Kaysen? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Yes.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Item number 8, Steve, contract renewal with CLC Photography for professional sports photography services for youth sports programs.
Good afternoon. This is a contract renewal for CLC Photography. They will provide our professional sports photography services to our youth sports programs, and they do pay a $4 surcharge to the city per package sold. This one will run through the end of the year, and then we have it set up to renew yearly after that. So
And that renewal process or bidding out process just follows our policies on that it can
Yes.
continue to renew. Okay,
Yes, we've went through
got it.
the city attorney.
All right. Any questions or comments of Steve? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve.
All right, I have a motion. Second, any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 9, Resolution 25-22 to apply for the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. It's always exciting to get to bring grant proposals to the City Council. The city's posture has been fairly aggressive the last few years on trying to leverage local dollars with our state and federal partner through various grants. So what's before you this afternoon is, as you know, we talked about at the last meeting, the capital improvements to Heritage Point Park being a 2024 SPLOST project. In an effort to leverage those local funds, the city's attempting to pursue a Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program grant through the Department of Natural Resource. So this resolution presented for your consideration this evening provides for the following, that it's in the best interest of the city to apply for the grant. And the resolution includes formal affirmation of the city's commitment to the program, commitment of funding for long-term maintenance of the proposed improvements if selected to receive the grant, support of the application submission, a commitment to set aside 25% of the required funds as a local match, which, as I've already said, we've got $3 million set aside for this project already. And it also authorizes the city administrator to execute and deliver any requisite documents for the purposes of pursuing the grant if approved. And you might recall at the last meeting, we've got an engineering consultant working on the conceptual plan and feasibility analysis for this project as well.
All right, any questions or comments of Andrew? And the only question I have is just a clarification. There were gentlemen that spoke that had just some questions and wanted to bring our attention to some preservation issues of wildlife, wetland areas. This does not have an impact. This act tonight would not, how would that interact with their concerns?
Actually, you know, in pursuit of this grant, it would actually further secure their concerns and interests, because in order to receive the funds, you've got to demonstrate that you're pursuing land stewardship and conservation initiatives, which is a high bar to achieve. This is a very competitive program. Specifically with regards to the concerns that were presented, our next step after this, given the fact that this pre-application is due the middle of the month, that's why we've had to expedite both the conceptual renderings and the application. Our next phase is to coordinate a stakeholders meeting whereby we would have all the interested stakeholders, including the school system. We've already reached out to the school system to engage both the Park Creek and Dalton Junior High principals, since they're within the project area. And so we plan to do that as part of our next phase of the project submittal.
Okay, that's the only clarification I had. Any questions or comments of Andrew? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion, a second, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 10, Resolution 25-23 to ratify the grant agreement between the Appalachian Regional Commission and the City of Dalton.
Okay, thank you. You might recall back in the summer, the City Council approved ratification of a separate grant submittal to ARC, the Appalachian Regional Commission, for the East Morris Street Corridor Improvements Project, which was also a 2024 SPLOST project. I'm very pleased to announce to both the council and the public that we received notification last week on September 29th that ARC awarded a grant in the amount of $1,998,665 to the city for the project. So this is not speculative at this point. We have received official notification that we were selected. So what's before you this evening is a resolution that would provide that we accept the grant. It authorizes acceptance of the grant and enters us into the grant agreement and ratification of the same. It authorizes the city administrator to execute any and all documents as may be required to accept and administer the said grant. And it also acknowledges that the city will use the 2024 SPLOST funds as the local matching source for the federal grant fund.
Any questions or comments of Andrew? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 11, lease agreement with the Latin American Association, Inc.
Okay, on this one, the background is back in October of 2022, the city entered a 3-year lease agreement with the Latin American Association to lease office space at Matt Gaston Community Center to provide services including direct intervention, financial assistance, coaching, and education to the community with an emphasis on those with limited income, limited English proficiency, and or the risk of homelessness. So if you measure those 3 years, we're about to end that existing lease agreement. So what's before you this evening for consideration is a new 3-year lease agreement to occupy the same space that they currently occupy through October 2028. With the following considerations, we did ask the association to provide some additional considerations for a new lease. They would provide office hours 5 days a week, which is in their current lease agreement, and they would provide their pro rata share of utilities for Matt Gaston based on the space they occupy, which is $250 a month. And this is what's new. They agreed to provide the following services, which includes public benefit enrollment. They already do that, but they're going to add a tutoring program, which would be every day of the week, Monday through Friday, for 1st through 3rd grade students. They would also do a reading club at Matt Gaston on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They would do weekly art classes and monthly parent workshops on the students that participate in these programs to meet with the parents and assist them as needed. And as you may know, they offer a variety of community events already. And as part of the lease considerations, they would provide these services.
All right, any questions or comments of Andrew? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 12, Franklin Street and Valley Drive Stormwater Bypass Project Contract Change Order. Number 3, Chad.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The proposed change order from Wright Brothers Construction is for the installation of curb and gutter within the entirety of the construction limits for the Franklin and Valley Stormwater Bypass Project. These locations currently do not have nor have ever had curb and gutter installed. This stems from the Public Works Department receiving multiple requests from citizens that reside on adjoining properties to the project. While not a necessity to ensure the success of the project, it would add uniformity to Franklin Street and allow for curb and gutter to be consistent throughout the neighborhood. This does pose some challenges with tying into existing grades and will most likely require some removal and replacement of existing irrigation, but all of which is incorporated within the change order. The change order for the additional 1,100 linear feet of curb, backfill and dress up of the right-of-way, and any irrigation repairs that may be prevalent is in the amount of $84,905.65. Wright Brothers also asked that the contract be extended 31 days, moving the completion date to December 1st, 2025. While the current contract is funded out of the bonded projects account, if approved, I'll have to work with Andrew and Cindy to identify funding to cover the change order. Due to the necessity to expedite the request to keep the project moving, it has not been brought to the Public Works Committee for approval. With that, I'll take any questions.
Is the request of Wright Brothers because there's an opportunity with a change order, or is this addition going to take 31 days? Is it because of that in part?
It's pretty extensive. It won't quite take the full 31 days to install the 1,100 feet of curb, but it'll take probably 3 weeks.
Okay. And I can appreciate that it hasn't, that for timeliness, it's not gone, in front of, Councilmember Lana or Goodlet on your Public Works Committee.
Question. So will this start at Valley, the intersection of Valley Drive, and go east to the end of Franklin Street?
Yes, yes, it'll cover the entirety of Franklin Street that doesn't have curb associated with the project. Basically within the confines of the project limits.
And it's going to be on both sides of the road,
Yes,
which has never had it before.
no, it never has.
All right, any other questions, comments of Chad? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
since this project touches upon my family's property, I'm gonna recuse myself from this vote.
Forgive me if you said this already, but how is the request just coming from?
The majority of property owners that currently do not have curb that have been affected by this project are requesting that curb get installed.
Is that going to, does that affect their stormwater, or is it just?
I mean, it would essentially, help, anytime that we can keep
Water on the street?
street water in the street, it'll certainly help.
Okay, so it's coming, okay, it just wasn't contemplated in the original project. And you as the staff have no opposition to the spirit of the project, which has been stormwater management.
Right, we have no opposition to it.
Is it fair to say it actually offers a positive impact on stormwater? I mean, is it?
Yes, yeah.
Meaningful? Would it be fair to say it's meaningful?
As it relates to the bypass project in and of itself, it is not a necessity. It was not designed specifically for new curb installation within these areas. It certainly isn't going to hurt. But as far as the overall goal of the project, it's not a necessity.
You don't think it's gonna increase like the capacity since it's gonna stay on the street or anything like that?
We've actually posed that question to the engineers and they have no issue with it.
Okay.
Councilmember Farrow, I have the same conflict as you do on a relative being affected by this property, so
You do?
I
yeah.
do.
We have.
This goes all the way up Franklin. I mean,
Yes.
it's,
Yeah, all of West Franklin would essentially have curb.
We gotta wait until.
Can we table it?
yeah, so we're gonna have to table it to another meeting. Is this something that could be ratified at another meeting? Jonathan, I mean, this is,
You need to table it.
yeah.
Mayor, and
It doesn't benefit, it wasn't a part of the spirit of the original project. That's why it wasn't considered and added. But so water that just falls directly down on the street, not water that's traveling through this, not the purpose of this project, but just water that rainfall that comes down is where it would be meaningful that stayed in the street. So we're not talking a huge impact on stormwater detention, correct?
And I mean, in the essence of time for the contract, this is something that Public Works crews could come back and do at a later date. This is just something we were trying to capture while the contractor was there. That way we can be done in the
Least
future.
disruptive.
Yeah. How long would the project take if Public Works considered it at another point and it was captured in a budget because we don't currently know where the funds would come from?
How long would it take for Public Works?
To do it?
Given our current workload, I mean, it would be sometime later next year before we could get to it.
Okay. Well, we'll have to table it. I also have a conflict. So I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to table.
Have a motion, second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item 13, first reading ordinance 25-22, the request of David Armstrong to rezone from high-density residential R7 to rural residential R5, attractive land totaling 1.9 acres located on Walston Avenue, Dalton, Georgia, parcel 12-197-01-038. Ethan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The rezoning before us is a property that has been rezoned in the past. The petitioner is coming forward to propose a change from their original plan, and property was formerly zoned high-density residential. And currently before us is a portion of that parent tract being rezoned before us today for consideration for rural residential. And essentially, the reason for that, as explained by the petitioner, was that on the high-density residential side, they could build more units technically in the style of an apartment. However, single-family and duplex dwellings would all need to basically reside on that same tract, so they could not be divided into individual lots for fee simple ownership or even for duplexes to occupy individual lots. All of those uses that I just mentioned, however, are allowed in high-density residential. Essentially, any type of residential development is allowed in high density. So this would be a reduction in potential units per acre, as well as overall land use intensity. The only type uses that would be allowed in R5 would be single-family detached on lots of a minimum size of 7,500 square feet, and then duplex dwellings on slightly larger lots based on the sewer availability at this location. Property does not front Wall Street, would not have road or direct street access to Wall Street. In the original zoning of this property, when it was zoned R7, there's a condition. That condition is that access be limited to Walston Avenue and not Wall Street. In this case, that would not be necessary to place any condition like that on this rezoning, as they do not have access to Wall Street, only to Walston Avenue. With that being said, staff recommendation was in favor, and the Planning Commission recommendation was also in favor for approval, and there were no individuals there to speak in opposition. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
This is the second time this one been in front of us, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
This is the second time this property has came up.
Oh,
It's been rezoned once before.
1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a question of access and a road and
so is this, have they divided their piece of property up, or is this little triangular piece just a whole separate piece of property?
This would just be the portion that we see in the bold outline there. So it would just be the 1.9 acres. There is one adjacent lot that's that kind of funny shaped lot, which is a troubled lot, but.
Same owner?
Yes, sir. Little challenge with topography and again, access to Wall Street is not really a safe location. There's an S curve. There's the topography issue at that location.
This property across the street from what used to be called the Executive Apartments,
I think so. Stoneleigh, I think is what I remember those as, but yes, sir.
sort of where their tennis courts used to be located and all that.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Exactly.
all right, and this is a first reading, so we'll take this up at our next meeting. Are there any other questions or comments of Ethan? Okay, thank you very much. All right, there's no other business before this council, no announcements. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion, a second, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.